Alright, someone invited us to compete in a challenge for a pair of boots. What a generous sponsor they are. Man, the weather is worse outside now. Oh, is this a head-to-head? Head-to-heads are kind of fun. I at least get to see myself in my proper outfit. Appreciate that. Going down, Davey. Now then. I'm not even sure if there's an up or downside to holding the gas like that. Before you actually are allowed to move. That was suboptimal. We're really gonna do this whole supercross style, aren't we? That's a pain. Oh, please, man. Okay, that was cutting quite a lot of the course, wasn't it? I guess it was fair for the game to get angry at me there. Well, you do want to actually have the... You want to be ready to go when it's time to actually start. I'll say that. That's one reason to hold the gas down. So it gets you to start going as soon as you're allowed to. Still feels awkward hearing the default menu music as a track in the gameplay, but whatever. I was ahead here earlier. Whoops. I dipped into the other lane, so to speak, for a second there. That was kind of funny. Okay. Enough the other path. That worked pretty well. Very good. I will say turning on the bike turn feels fairly comfortable. I don't like how if you turn too hard, you put your foot down and you turn in a very different arc all of a sudden. And you slow it down a whole bunch. But just doing some light taps and so on to ensure that you don't accidentally go into that state. You turn pretty comfortably, pretty hard. Anyways, boots, amazing. I don't care. I'm gonna wear them. I'm not allowed to wear them. I'm required to wear the Fury gear. Oh well. What portion of this game's story am I even allowed to choose what bike and outfit to wear anyways? It's evidently not much. Okay, by the way, is this the last or second last episode I'm recording today? It's the last one. Okay. No episodes this week that have gone on super long yet, surprisingly. I could do buggy next. And then we'll do National Light and Heavy next time. Next sitting, at least, if not next episode. Okay, that's probably fine. Oh, I don't have the... Everything's been dirt for this vehicle type so far. Are there even such thing as snow tires in this game? This prototype is probably good at everything. There's snow, it exists. Where? I don't know. I'm not seeing ice. Although at the same time, you never really see much ice in Fury 3. It was to the point where I don't know if there was ever much point in using ice tires. Except for, I guess there was just certain courses, like small courses, that were mostly over ice, maybe? I don't know what it is. Why do the general purpose even exist? The way the tires are in this game feels really dumb. It's just a lot of stuff there's no reason to ever buy or use. But anyhow. Yeah, where are the snow courses, man? I guess I don't remember what continents are left. One of those continents is not Antarctica, though. I'll keep that in mind. I guess we'll probably have a continent that has more snow on it at some point. We're on Africa right now. It's not really a premier spot for snow, as I understand it. That is a good defense. They could have at least taken the chance when we were like in North America, for instance. Like, we were in Canada on at least one occasion, I think multiple. Like, come on, put snow in Canada. If you're gonna have Canadian representation, and you have snow in your game as a mechanic, like, put snow in your one Canadian location. If you have a great multitude of Canadian locations, they don't have to all have snow or anything, but come on. You don't have to be like Tony Hawk's Underground, where you have a generic course called Canada that is just a frozen wasteland or anything, but you can at least acknowledge it. I'm not going the wrong way. You're pointing the wrong way. What in the world are you, game? I think the game thought for a second that I was actually on the bridge or something. It said, what are you doing? You just jumped from the bridge to under the bridge or something to that effect. That's my impression. Again, that clearly I did not go much off the track there. Okay. When I'm in contact with other people like that, I lose the ability to steer. I'm just sliding on the ground. Okay, not the right way of taking that ramp. You can hear everyone else driving their engines as they start. But yeah, getting locked with everyone else as you try to turn there is really annoying. There we go. Yeah, if you want to try to weave that turn, you gotta be really careful with it. To not flip yourself over. Okay, here we go. I'm not off the course, shut up! God, this game's way too touchy about that. You just slide off the marked course for you in a moment. And sometimes even you just happen to be on the edge of it and the game says, whoops, you cut a corner too hard or something to that effect. You skipped part of the course, even though I absolutely didn't. And I have to respawn. And the game is very unkind to you when respawning in this. It tends to respawn you pretty far back. Alright, take this turn I want you ought to be more comfortable now, at least now that... Ah! So, it's hard to really communicate how, when you touch another vehicle, not only do you tend to lose steering, but you can also end up in a situation where for some reason you just oversteer in a way that you don't when you're not touching another car. It's a little strange. Touching other vehicles is just extremely bad for handling overall. Oh, now I'm just still fighting to get ahead, which is an extremely unpleasant position to be in. Oh boy, this course is giving me trouble. Okay, so here it seems like the reasonable thing to do is just to go kind of slow and then cut ahead of everyone. Like, there's too much of a crowd to try to take that turn with a regular racing line. But everyone else tries to take an approximately regular racing line on it, so you can cut through it to get ahead of everyone. Alright, so I need to be aware that this turn right here is a source of problems. They kind of pulled the whole take the turn aggressively and just hit your opponent on the outside thing there that I sometimes do against my opponents. Holding a lead here is proving a little bit more difficult too than usual. Okay, not too bad. I just need to get ahead of this dude. What are you doing? Now see, if I hit someone from behind like that, if I run into someone head on, it tends to make me keep turning. If I expect it, I can counteract it pretty okay. But if it catches me off guard, I'll oversteer like crazy without having realized it was going to happen. And that's hard to correct afterwards with a delayed reaction like that. Okay, yeah, jeez. I was only taking that turn moderately hard there, still almost overshot it. I slowed down a little bit first too, at least let up the gas. It's not the sort of game where you hold gas 100% of the time or anything. I'm not, again, you can see when I'm holding the gas or not, largely. If I'm not in the air, the green bar will go down no matter what, even if I'm holding the gas. But still, so you can see some approximation of what I'm doing. You'll see frequently that they're like, going to turns and whatnot. Like there, I wasn't holding the gas at all. You know, I could have adjusted my brakes a bit more for the buggy. I think I played with the bias last time I was using the buggy. I could have made it 85-15 like it did on the truck. It felt really good on the truck. I didn't even think about it at all actually as I was driving the truck, how my brakes were configured. It just felt comfortable. I wasn't paying conscious attention to how my brakes are handling, but I had no complaints. Should do the same with the buggy. Again, I think I'm kind of just using the brakes the way that the clutch is meant to be used. But again, the clutch doesn't really seem to do anything, maybe because I don't have my clutch upgraded or something. But if I do have my brakes configured right, using the brake in place of the clutch seems perfectly comfortable. I don't really see any downside to it. Oh, I guess the red there is something along the lines of braking. Like if I do start hitting the brakes, the red starts going up. So you can see when I'm braking on a turn as well. And you'll see that I kind of have like different stages of trying to turn really hard. My first is to just let go of the gas and that's it. No, my first is to just to pump the gas a little bit instead of holding it. My next is to let go of the gas entirely. After that comes pumping the brakes a little. And then holding the brakes the entire turn is not usually something that I think works very well, so you just kind of stop at that point. But if I really have to like try to do it in an emergency, like brake really hard because otherwise I'm not going to make this turn sort of thing, you might see me just hold the brakes the whole time. I do use the brake there, but I don't hold it very long. But I do hold it. That's kind of in the category of turn I'm otherwise overshooting. Whereas there, just no, I don't actually brake at all. Oh boy. Yeah, did something wrong there. Just had a really bad approach. That turn was okay at least. I think I should be able to stay ahead just fine. Nothing left in this course usually gives me trouble. It's mostly just kind of... Except for the last turn, it's basically just full throttle, actually. I guess make a couple easy turns like this, but it doesn't take much effort and I don't have to use the brake or anything. Right here, I may or may not use the brake, depending on how I approach it. But the thing is, you can kind of because it's after a drop, you can actually kind of like turn a little bit in the air to land in a good drift and slide around the corner pretty comfortably. Okay. I got a helmet. Oh, hooray. Alright, yeah, the weather's about how it was when I started. It got better than worse over the course of this recording. Oh well, I need to buy food either way, so I guess I'm gonna go brave the weather. Hoping that my food I buy doesn't pay the price for that. Well, South America's not gonna have much snow. Well, it depends on how south we go, actually. But people don't usually represent South America's having snow in fiction, so probably not. Europe might have some. Europe is a little vague. You might have some North European stuff, maybe. Granted, these are all continents. Why didn't Asia have any snow anywhere? Oh well. Well, see if we someday see snow in this game or not, or it'll just all be dirt forever. Alright. Going pretty smoothly though. This is a pretty straightforward, clean recording session. Alright, I'll see you next time when we keep going again. It's just kind of how the game goes. I should remember to actually count up how many hashes we've found so far too. Hopefully it's a pretty good proportion at this point, but it's hard to be sure. Alright, bye everyone.